Commander Hyunwoo stood in the massive hall of the Galactic Council Station. The ceiling stretched high above him, covered in strange lights that hurt his eyes. Around him, beings from 47 different worlds sat in tall chairs, looking down at the three humans below. The humans looked very small in this place. Hyunwoo wore his best uniform, the dark blue fabric clean and pressed. Next to him stood Dr. So Young, a woman with kind eyes who studied alien life forms. On his other side was Captain Jae-min, a soldier whose hand rested near his weapon out of habit. The alien beings whispered to each other in sounds that made no sense to human ears. Some looked like giant insects. Others had too many arms or eyes that glowed in the dark. A few seemed to be made of living metal. They all shared one thing. They looked at the humans like they were looking at dangerous animals. Chancellor Vextar rose from the highest chair. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like gray stone. His voice came out through a machine that made it sound like thunder. "Humans of the planet Earth," he said. "You stand before the Galactic Council today to hear our decision about your species." Hyunwoo tried to stand straight and tall. He had practiced this moment many times on the long trip to the council station. Earth had worked for 10 years to get this meeting. They wanted to join the galactic community and learn from other worlds. "We are honored to be here," Hyunwoo said. His voice sounded small in the huge room. "Earth hopes to work with all peaceful species in the galaxy." Some of the aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. Others showed their teeth or made clicking noises. None of it sounded friendly. Arbiter Kethlon, a being with 4 arms and blue skin, stood up next. "The Council has studied your species for many years. We have watched your wars. We have seen your weapons. We have read your history books." So Young stepped forward a little. "Honored beings, humanity has grown much in recent years. We have ended most wars on our world. We work together now to explore space and help each other." "Silence," Vextar said. The word echoed through the hall like a gunshot. "You will speak only when asked to speak." Jae-min's hand moved closer to his weapon. Hyunwoo put a hand on his arm to stop him. They could not fight here. This meeting was too important. Kethlon continued talking. "Your species learned to fly only 200 years ago. Now you travel between stars. This is not natural. This is dangerous." "We work hard," Hyunwoo said carefully. "Humans learn fast when they need to learn." "Too fast," said another alien. This one looked like a giant worm with many eyes. "No species should grow so quickly. It means you are unstable. It means you are a threat." So Young could not stay quiet anymore. "We have helped other species already. Our doctors have created new medicines. Our scientists have shared their knowledge freely." "Your scientists create weapons," Vextar said coldly. "Your doctors heal soldiers so they can fight again. Everything your species does leads back to war." The hall filled with sounds of agreement from the alien beings. They clicked and hissed and made deep rumbling noises. The humans felt very alone in that moment. "The council has made its decision," Vextar announced. "Humanity is not fit to join the galactic community. You are too violent, you are too unpredictable, you grow too fast and learn too much." Hyunwoo felt his heart sink. This was not what they had hoped for. "What does this mean for Earth?" "It means you have a choice," Kethlon said. "You can accept our help to become better. We will come to your world. We will take away your weapons. We will slow down your technology. We will teach you to be peaceful." "And if we refuse this help?" Jae-min asked. His voice was steady, but his eyes were angry. "Then we will be forced to take corrective action," Vextar said. "We will not allow a dangerous species to threaten the peace of the galaxy." So Young spoke up again. "You speak of peace, but you threaten us with war. How does this make you better than what you say we are?" Many of the aliens made angry sounds. Some stood up in their chairs. The noise grew loud and frightening. "We have kept peace in this galaxy for 3,000 years, Vextar shouted over the noise. "We have stopped wars before they could start. We have protected weak species from strong ones. This is what we do." "By forcing them to obey you," Hyunwoo said. "By taking away their freedom to choose." "Freedom to choose chaos," Kethlon replied. Freedom to choose destruction. This is not freedom. This is madness. The alien with the worm-like body spoke next. Your species fights each other over small things. You destroy your own world for resources. You create weapons that could kill all life on a planet. And you want us to trust you with access to the galaxy? Hyunwoo looked around the room at all, the alien faces. Some showed anger. Others showed fear. A few looked sad. But none of them looked like they wanted to understand humanity. How much time do we have to decide? He asked. 30 of your Earth days, Vextar said. This is generous. Most species get 7 days. And if we choose to remain free, then you will face the consequences of that choice, Kethalon answered. The Galactic Enforcement Fleet will ensure you do not become a threat to others. The meaning was clear. Submit or be destroyed. Jaemin stepped forward. How many ships in this enforcement fleet? Several aliens laughed at this question. They thought it was funny that a human would ask about military strength. Enough, Vextar said simply. More than your primitive world has ever seen. So, Young tried one more time. Please reconsider. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy. Our art, our music, our different ways of thinking about problems. We could learn from you and you could learn from us. There is nothing we need to learn from humans, an alien that looked like a giant crystal said. You have nothing we want. You have nothing we need. The meeting was over. The aliens began to leave their chairs and walk away. They talked among themselves as if the humans were no longer there. Hyunwoo, So Young, and Jaemin stood alone in the center of the great hall. The lights above them seemed dimmer now. The air felt cold. Commander, Jaemin said quietly. What do we tell Earth? Hyunwoo was quiet for a long moment. He looked up at the high ceiling, then at the empty chairs where the aliens had sat in judgment of his species. We tell them the truth, he said finally. We tell them that diplomacy has failed. We tell them that we have 30 days to prepare for war. As they walked toward their ship, So Young asked, Do you think they're right about us? Are we really too violent? Hyunwoo stopped walking. He turned to look back at the council hall one more time. Maybe we are violent, he said. But they're about to learn something important about humans. We're also very good at protecting what we love. The 3 humans left the station and began their long journey back to Earth. Behind them, the aliens continued their discussions about the human problem. They were confident that 30 days would be enough time for the humans to see reason. They had no idea how wrong they were. Back on Earth, Admiral Sung-ho received their transmission with a heavy heart. He was an old soldier who had hoped never to see another war. But as he listened to Hyunwoo's report, his face grew hard and determined. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They thought humanity's greatest weakness was their willingness to fight. They were about to discover it was actually their greatest strength. The emergency meeting room in Earth's Global Defense Center was packed with worried faces. President Mi-jin sat at the head of the long table. Her fingers pressed together as she listened to the reports coming in from around the world. Admiral Sung-ho had just finished explaining what happened at the Galactic Council. The room was very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. Earth had 30 days before alien ships would come to force them to surrender. How many ships do we have that can fight in space? President Mi-jin asked. General Tae-hyung looked at his papers. 43 combat ships. Most of them are small. We have 12 destroyers and 4 heavy cruisers that might stand a chance against alien technology. And they have how many? Asked Fleet Admiral Unji. The Council controls ships from 47 different worlds, Sung-ho replied. If they send even a small force, we could be facing hundreds of ships. The room fell quiet again. The numbers did not look good for Earth. Dr. Woo Jin, Earth's best scientist, spoke up from the corner of the room. There might be something we can do. My team has been working on a new technology. We call it quantum displacement. President Mi-jin turned to look at him. Explain it in simple words, Doctor. Think of space like a big ocean, Woo Jin said. Normal ships sail on top of the water. Our technology would let our ships dive under the water and come up anywhere else they want. You mean they could disappear? And reappear somewhere else? General Tae-hyung asked. Yes, exactly. But the technology is not ready yet. We need more time to test it. Admiral Sung Ho leaned forward. How much more time? At least 60 days, maybe 90. We have 30, President Mi Jin said firmly. Make it work in 30 days. Wu Jin nodded, but his face showed he was worried. We will try our best. Fleet Admiral Yunji spoke next. Even with new technology, we need to think about our people. Should we start moving civilians away from Earth? This started a big argument. Some people wanted to evacuate Earth cities. Others said running away would show weakness. The debate grew loud and angry. President Mi Jin hit the table with her hand. Enough. We will not abandon our home. We will defend it. Across the solar system, other humans were making similar decisions. On Kepler 442b, Colony Governor Do Hyun read the message from Earth 3 times before he believed it. They want us to do what? Asked Marine Colonel Hyojin, who was visiting the colony. Submit to alien control or be destroyed, Do Hyun said. Those are our choices. Hyojin laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Well, I know which choice my Marines will make. Do Hyun looked out the window of his office. He could see human families walking in the colony's main street. Children were playing in the park. People were living normal, peaceful lives. We need to prepare, he said. Can you protect this colony if the aliens come here? I can try, Hyojin replied. But I only have 200 Marines here. If they send a real army, we won't last long. Then, we make sure they pay a high price for taking this place. Back on Earth, Dr. Wu Jin was working day and night in his laboratory. His assistant, Jin A, had not slept in 20 hours. They were trying to solve problems that should have taken years to figure out. The power requirements are too high, Jin A said, looking at her computer screen. Every time we try to move something bigger than a car, the system breaks down. Then we need more power, Wu Jin said. What about the new fusion reactors? They're not ready either. Everything we need is still being tested. Wu Jin rubbed his tired eyes. We're asking technology to do magic, but maybe that's what humans do best. Make magic happen when we have no other choice. Jin-A smiled a little. My grandmother used to say that humans are too stupid to know when something is impossible. Maybe your grandmother was right. While Earth scientists worked on new weapons, Earth soldiers prepared for war in the old way. Training centers around the world were full of volunteers who wanted to learn how to fight aliens. Captain Haewon was training a group of new recruits at the Luna base. These men and women had never been soldiers before. They were teachers, farmers, store clerks, and students, but they all wanted to protect their world. The aliens think we're primitive, she told them. They think our weapons are toys. They think we'll run away when we see their ships. One young recruit raised his hand. Captain, are they right? Are we primitive compared to them? Haewon thought about this question. Yes, we are. Their ships are faster. Their weapons are stronger. Their shields are better than anything we have. The recruits looked worried. But, Haewon continued, being primitive doesn't mean being weak. It means being creative. It means finding new ways to solve old problems. It means fighting dirty when fighting clean won't work. An older recruit spoke up. What do you mean by fighting dirty? I mean we don't fight the way they expect us to fight. We don't line up our ships and have a nice, polite battle. We hit them when they're not ready. We attack from directions they don't expect. We make them afraid. Meanwhile, on the council station, the aliens were making their own preparations. Fleet Commander Zalthex was choosing which ships to send to deal with the human problem. How? Many ships do you think we need? Asked his assistant. Zalthex looked at the star map showing Earth's location. The humans have less than 50 combat ships. Send 200, that should be enough to make them surrender quickly. 200 seems like a lot for such a primitive species. Better to be safe. Besides, other species are watching. If we look weak dealing with humans, they might get ideas about rebelling. Zalthex was a good commander, but he had never fought humans before. He did not understand how different they were from other species the Council had conquered. Back on Earth, Admiral Sung Ho was looking at pictures of the ships that would soon come to attack his world. The aliens had faster ships and better weapons, Any normal military leader would surrender rather than fight such a force. But Sung Ho was not thinking about surrender. He was thinking about how to win. "They'll expect us to meet them in open space," he told his staff. "They'll expect us to fight like civilized beings." "What do you suggest instead?" asked one of his officers. "We fight like humans," Sung Ho said with a cold smile. The 30 days passed quickly. Earth's scientists worked around the clock. Soldiers trained until they could barely stand. Factories built new weapons and ships as fast as they could. Dr. Wu Jin's quantum displacement technology was still not perfect, but it was working well enough to test. A few ships had been equipped with the new system. It was dangerous and unpredictable, but it was also their best hope. On the last day before the alien deadline, President Mi Jin spoke to the world on television. "My fellow humans," she said, "tomorrow, ships from the Galactic Council will arrive at our system. They will demand that we surrender our freedom. They will ask us to let them control our lives and our future." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "Our answer is no. We choose to remain free. We choose to defend our home. We choose to show the galaxy that humans do not kneel to anyone." Across Earth and its colonies, people watched and listened. Some were afraid. Some were excited. All of them were proud. Admiral Sung Ho sent a message to the Galactic Council that same day. It was short and simple. "Humanity chooses to stand free. Come and take our freedom if you can." The aliens received this message and laughed. They thought, the humans were being foolish and brave. They had no idea that humans could be foolish, brave, and extremely dangerous all at the same time. The war was about to begin, and neither side truly understood what they were about to face. The alien fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system like a dark cloud covering the stars. 800 ships from 12 different worlds moved in perfect formation toward Earth. They were beautiful and terrible at the same time. Fleet Commander Zalthek stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the primitive human world grow larger on his screens. He expected to see human ships running away in fear. Instead, he saw something that surprised him. The humans were waiting for them. Admiral Kyung-soo commanded the human defense fleet from his ship, the Incheon. He had only 60 ships, but every one of them was crewed by volunteers who knew they might die today. They were not running. They were not hiding. They were ready to fight. "Sir," said his communications officer, "the alien fleet is sending us a message. Put it on the main screen," Kyung-soo ordered. Zalthek's face appeared on the screen. He looked like a tall lizard with golden scales and cold yellow eyes. "Human vessels," Zalthek said in perfect English. "You are outnumbered 10 to 1. Surrender, now, and your deaths will be quick." Kyung-soo stood up and faced the screen. "Alien Commander, this is Admiral Kyung-soo of Earth Defense Fleet. We do not surrender. We do not run. If you want our world, come and take it." Zalthek made a sound that might have been laughter. "So be it. Attack." The alien ships moved forward in a line, just like they had practiced 1,000 times before. Their energy weapons began to charge up, creating bright lights along their hulls. They expected the humans to do the same thing, form a battle line and fight ship to ship. Instead, the human ships scattered in all directions. Captain Haiwan commanded the destroyer, Seoul's Pride. As the alien ships came toward her, she did something no civilized species would ever do. She aimed her ship directly at the largest alien vessel and fired her engines at full power. "Captain," her weapons officer shouted, "we're going to hit them." "That's the idea," Haiwan said calmly. The aliens on the big ship saw the small human destroyer racing toward them. They fired their energy weapons, but Haiwan's ship was moving too fast and changing direction too much. The alien weapons missed. At the last second, Haiwan fired every weapon her ship had directly into the alien vessel's side. The human ship was much smaller, but it was moving very fast. The impact tore a huge hole in the alien ship's hull. Seoul's Pride was badly damaged, but Haiwan was not done fighting. "All power to engines," she ordered. "Ram the next ship." Her crew stared at her like she was crazy. "You heard me," she said. "If we're going to die today, let's take as many of them with us as possible." Across the battlefield, other human ships were doing equally crazy things. Lieutenant Commander Dong Min had one of the new ships equipped with Dr. Wu Jin's quantum displacement technology. As alien ships surrounded him, he simply disappeared. The aliens looked around in confusion. Where had the human ship gone? Dong Min reappeared inside the alien formation right next to their flagship. Before they could react, he fired nuclear missiles at point-blank range. The explosions destroyed 2 alien ships and damaged 3 others. Then, he disappeared again. "Where are they?" Zalthek screamed at his sensors officer. "How are they doing this?" "I don't know, sir. The human ship just vanishes from our instruments." Dongmin appeared behind another group of alien ships. This time, he targeted their engines. Without engines, the alien ships could not move or escape. They became easy targets for other human vessels. Battle leader Minho was commanding a squadron of small human fighters. His job was supposed to be scouting and support. Instead, he led his 12 fighters in a direct attack on an alien cruiser that was 50 times larger than his ships. The aliens laughed when they saw the tiny human fighters approaching. Their weapons could destroy a fighter with one shot. But Minho had studied the alien ship designs and he knew something they didn't know. "All fighters, target the sensor array on the ship's front," he ordered. "Hit it at the same time." The 12 fighters dove toward the huge alien ship like angry wasps. The aliens fired at them, destroying 4 fighters immediately. But the remaining 8 reached their target. When the sensor array was destroyed, the alien ship was blind. It could not see to fight or to run. Minho's fighters then attacked the ship's weapon systems one by one until the great vessel was helpless. Commander Ye Jin led another fighter squadron in an attack that no sane pilot would attempt. She flew her fighters directly through the exhaust ports of alien engines. The hot gases should have destroyed her ships instantly, but human engineers had built their fighters tough. Ye Jin's squadron survived the trip through the engine exhaust and came out inside the alien ship's engine room. From there, they could destroy the ship from the inside. "This is impossible," one alien engineer said, as human fighters flew through his engine room, shooting everything they could see. "Humans don't know what impossible means," Yejin replied over the radio before her fighters flew out through another exhaust port. The battle was not going the way Zalthex had planned. His ships were designed to fight other civilized species who followed the rules of war. The humans were not following any rules. Human ships appeared and disappeared without warning. They rammed alien vessels instead of fighting at a safe distance. They flew through engine exhaust and inside shield generators. They did things that should have been suicide but somehow worked. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we've lost over 200 ships. The humans have lost only 30. Zalthex could not believe what he was hearing. "How is this possible? We have better ships, better weapons, better shields." "The humans are not fighting like any species we've encountered before," the officer replied. "They're unpredictable, chaotic. We can't anticipate their moves. Then we adapt. Change formation. Spread out more. Don't let them get close." But even as Zalthex gave new orders, the humans were already adapting too. Admiral Kyung-soo was watching the battle from his command ship and saw the aliens changing their tactics. "They're learning," he told his staff. "Good. Now let's teach them something else." Kyung-soo ordered all ships equipped with quantum displacement to attack the alien command vessels. If they could capture or destroy the alien commanders, the rest of the fleet might surrender. Dr. Wu Jin's technology was still dangerous to use. Some ships disappeared and never came back. Others appeared in empty space far from the battle. But enough ships made it through to strike at the alien command structure. Dong Min appeared directly next to Zalthex's flagship. This time, instead of firing weapons, he did something even more surprising. He docked with the alien ship. "Sir," Dongmin's Marine commander reported, "we're ready to board their vessel." "Do it," Dongmin ordered. 50 human Marines cut through the alien ship's hull and poured into the vessel. They were outnumbered badly, but they had 2 advantages. First, they were fighting in the narrow corridors of a ship, where numbers mattered less. Second, they were humans fighting for their home. The aliens had never seen anything like human Marines in close combat. The humans moved fast, hit hard, and never stopped coming. They used their weapons, their fists, their feet, and anything else they could find. Within an hour, Dongmin's Marines had captured the alien flagship's bridge. Zalthex found himself staring at a human Marine pointing a weapon at his head. The Marine was young, maybe 20 years old, with dirt on her face and fire in her eyes. "Surrender," she said in broken alien language. "Or die." Zalthex had been a military commander for 200 years. He had conquered dozens of worlds for the Galactic Council. He had never been captured by a primitive species barely old enough to travel between stars. "This is not possible," he said. "Tell that to your dead ships," the Marine replied. Across the battlefield, the alien fleet was falling apart. Their commanders were dead or captured. Their ships were being destroyed by an enemy they could not understand or predict. Some alien captains tried to retreat, but human ships with quantum displacement technology followed them. There was nowhere to run. By the end of the day, over 500 alien ships had been destroyed or captured. The human fleet had lost 80 ships, but they had won a victory that should have been impossible. Admiral Kyung-soo stood on his bridge and looked at the wreckage floating in space around Jupiter's moons. Human and alien ships drifted together among the debris. Some were still burning. Some were completely dark. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we're receiving surrender signals from the remaining alien ships." "Accept their surrender," Kyung-soo ordered. "Treat their wounded, repair their ships if we can." "Sir, why are we helping them?" Kyung-soo thought about this question for a moment. "Because that's what humans do. We fight like demons when we have to, but when the fighting is over, we show mercy." The news of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light. Species that had obeyed the Galactic Council for centuries suddenly began to ask questions. If humans could defeat the Council's fleet, maybe the Council was not as powerful as everyone thought. On the Council station, emergency meetings were being held. The aliens who had been so confident about defeating the humans were now afraid. "How did this happen?" Chancellor Vexitar demanded. "How did a primitive species destroy our fleet?" "They don't fight like civilized beings," Arbiter Kethalon replied. "They use tactics that make no sense. They sacrifice themselves to damage our ships." News of humanity's impossible victory traveled across the galaxy like wildfire. On 1,000 worlds, beings who had bowed to the Galactic Council for centuries began to whisper dangerous words. Words like freedom and rebellion and hope. On the water world of Aqualis Prime, the fish-like beings called the Hydros heard the story in secret. For 300 years they had been slaves to the Council, forced to mine crystals from their ocean floors. Now they learned that someone had actually defeated a Council fleet. "Is it true?" asked Coral Singer Nemo, one of the Hydros leaders. "Did the humans really win?" "The story comes from many sources," replied her advisor. "Even the Council cannot hide such a large defeat." Admiral Sung Ho did not wait for the Council to send another fleet. While Earth celebrated their victory, he was already planning the next move. The old soldier knew that a wounded enemy was often more dangerous than a healthy one. "We cannot wait for them to attack us again," he told the emergency meeting in the Global Defense Center. "We have to take the fight to them." President Mijin looked worried. "Our fleet is damaged. Many of our ships need repairs. Our pilots are exhausted." "Then we fight with what we have," Sung Ho replied. "The Council thinks in terms of years and decades. They will take time to plan their response. But if we strike now, while they are still confused and angry, we can free other worlds before they organize." Dr. So Young had been studying the captured alien prisoners. She raised her hand to speak. "The aliens we captured have told us about other species the Council controls," she said. "Many of them were forced to join the Council. They have no choice but to obey." "Are you saying some of our enemies might become our friends?" asked Fleet. "Admiral Yunji, I'm saying that the Council's greatest weakness might be that they rule through fear instead of loyalty." Admiral Byung-ho, who commanded Earth's Second Fleet, spoke up. "Which worlds should we target first?" Sung Ho pointed to a star map on the wall. "The Council has military bases on 12 worlds. If we can capture or destroy these bases, we can stop them from sending reinforcements to each other. That's a lot of targets for our small fleet, Byung-ho said. Then we don't attack them all at once. We hit one, then move to the next. We keep moving so they cannot predict where we will strike. Fleet Captain Na-young had been quiet during the meeting, but now she stood up. Sir, what about the innocent civilians on these worlds? Many of them are not council members. They're just trying to live their lives. Sung-ho nodded. We protect civilians whenever possible. We are not conquerors. We are liberators. Anyone who wants freedom can join us. Anyone who wants to remain neutral can stay safe. Only those who fight for the council need to fear us. The first target was Zerion 7, a desert world where the council had built a major weapons factory. The planet was defended by a mixed fleet of ships from several alien species, but most of the crews did not want to be there. Marine General Sung-jun led the assault on Zerion 7. His job was to capture the weapons factory without destroying it. The humans needed those weapons if they were going to fight a galaxy-wide war. Remember, he told his Marines as they prepared to land, we're not here to conquer this world. We're here to free it. Treat the local population with respect. Protect them from council forces. Show them that humans are different from their previous masters. The landing was easier than expected. The alien defenders were used to fighting other civilized species who gave warnings before attacking. The humans landed without any warning, using their quantum displacement technology to appear directly inside the factory complex. General Seung-jun's Marines moved through the factory like ghosts. They captured key positions before the defenders even knew they were under attack. Within 6 hours, the entire complex was in human hands. The factory workers were mostly members of a species called the lithoids, beings made of living crystal who had been enslaved by the council centuries ago. They stared at the human Marines with confusion and fear. Why are you here? Asked one of the lithoid workers. Are you our new masters? No, Seung-jun replied through a translator. You have no masters anymore. You are free. The lithoid worker tilted his crystal head. Free? What does this mean? It means you can choose your own path. Work if you want to work. Leave if you want to leave. Fight if you want to fight. Word of the liberation of Zerion 7 spread to other worlds. Some species celebrated in secret. Others were afraid of what the council would do in response. But all of them were watching to see what the humans would do next. Dr. So-young arrived on Zerion 7 with medical supplies and translation equipment. Her job was to help the freed species adjust to their new situation. Many of them had been slaves for so long that they did not know how to be free. The lithoids are natural engineers, she reported to Earth. They've been forced to build weapons for the council, but they actually prefer to build cities and art. The humans who liberated them say they are eager to help our cause. Meanwhile, Dr. Wu Jin was working with his assistant Jin A to improve the quantum displacement technology. The battle at Jupiter had shown both the power and the limitations of their invention. We need to make it more reliable, Jin A said as she looked at the test results. Too many ships are getting lost in quantum space. And we need to make it work on bigger ships, Wu Jin added. If we could move an entire fleet at once, we could appear anywhere in the galaxy. That would require 1,000 times more power than we have now. Wu Jin smiled. Then we better figure out how to get 1,000 times more power. Captain Subin was commanding one of the first mixed-species crews in human history. Her ship, the Harmony, had humans, lithoids, and a few defectors from other council species working together. The ship was heading to Aqualis Prime to attempt the liberation of the Hydros. This would be the most difficult mission yet, because Aqualis Prime was heavily defended and completely covered by water. How do we fight a battle underwater? Asked her human tactical officer. We learn, Subin replied. The Hydros know their own world better than any council forces. If we can make contact with them, they can teach us. Commander Ji-eun had been put in charge of civilian evacuation procedures. Her job was to get innocent beings away from battle zones before the fighting started. It was difficult work because many aliens did not trust humans. They think we're just another conquering species, she reported to Admiral Sung-ho. They don't understand that we're trying to help them. Actions speak louder than words, Sung-ho replied. Keep protecting civilians. Eventually they will see that we are different. On the council station, emergency sessions were being held around the clock. The aliens who had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years were discovering that their empire was not as stable as they had thought. 17 worlds have stopped sending tribute, Arbiter Kethlon reported. 6 species have declared independence. The humans have inspired rebellion across the entire galaxy. Chancellor Vextar paced back and forth in front of the great star map. Red lights showed worlds that were in rebellion. Yellow lights showed worlds that had stopped communicating. Green lights showed worlds that were still loyal. There were far too many red and yellow lights. How many ships do we have left? Vexitar asked. 3,000 combat vessels, replied Fleet Marshal Torga. But they are scattered across the galaxy. It would take months to gather them into one fleet. Then don't gather them into one fleet. Use them to crush these rebellions one world at a time. Sir, the humans are moving too fast. By the time our ships reach a rebel world, the humans have already liberated it and moved on. Vextar slammed his fist on the table. Then we make them come to us. We attack Earth directly. If we destroy their homeworld, the rebellions will collapse. Strategic Advisor In-sung was one of the few council members who had actually studied human history. He had been trying to warn the others about what they were facing. Sir, attacking Earth might not have the effect you want, he said carefully. Humans become more dangerous when they are cornered, not less dangerous. They are already as dangerous as they can be. No, sir. We have only seen what humans do when they are fighting for freedom. We have not seen what they do when they are fighting for revenge. But Vexitar was not listening to warnings anymore. He had ruled the galaxy for too long to accept that a primitive species could threaten his power. The order went out to all council forces. Prepare for a final assault on Earth. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier would be used to crush humanity once and for all. On Earth, Admiral Sung-ho received intelligence reports about the massive fleet being assembled to attack his world. The numbers were terrifying. Nearly 3,000 ships from dozens of species all coming to destroy humanity. Can we win against those odds? President Mi-jin asked. Sung-ho looked at the star map showing the locations of human forces. They now had allies on 23 worlds. Freed species were building ships and training soldiers. The human fleet had grown to over 300 vessels. Alone? No, he said. But we are not alone anymore. Every species we have liberated, every world we have freed, every being who has chosen freedom over slavery, they are all fighting with us now. Admiral Myung-ho, who commanded the Third Fleet, made a suggestion. Instead of waiting for them to attack Earth, what if we meet them halfway? The final battle began at the Council's home system, a place called Dominion Prime. For 3,000 years, this system had been the center of galactic power. Today, it would become the center of galactic freedom. Supreme Admiral Young-soo commanded the largest human fleet ever assembled. 800 ships from Earth and its allies moved through space toward the Council's capital. They carried crews from 20 different species, all united in their desire for freedom. The Council's defense fleet was waiting for them. 2,000 ships in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. They had never lost a battle in their home system. They did not plan to lose today. But as the human fleet approached, something unexpected happened. Ships from the Council fleet began to change sides. Captain Subin was commanding the mixed-species vessel Harmony when she received a transmission from an alien ship in the enemy fleet. Human vessel, this is Captain Reefwalker of the Hydros. Liberation ship Deep Current. We request permission to join your formation. Subin could hardly believe what she was hearing. How many ships are with you? 47 ships from 6 different species. We have been waiting for this moment for centuries. All across the battlefield, alien crews who had been forced to serve the Council were turning against their masters. Species that had been slaves for generations saw their chance for freedom and took it. The Council's perfect formation began to break apart as ships switched sides or simply refused to fight. Admiral Young-soo watched in amazement as his fleet grew larger even as the battle began. Chancellor Vextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching his empire collapse around him. How is this possible? These species swore loyalty to the Council. They swore loyalty because they had no choice, Arbiter Kethlon replied. Now they have a choice, and they are choosing freedom. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of two organized fleets fighting each other, it became a chaotic mixture of liberation and revenge. Former slaves fought their former masters. Council loyalists found themselves surrounded by rebels. Admiral Myung-ho led the assault on the Council station itself. His Marines had to fight through layers of defenses, but they were helped by aliens inside the station who opened doors and showed them secret passages. Dr. So-young was with the assault force, not as a soldier, but as a translator and negotiator. Her job was to convince Council species to surrender rather than die in pointless battles. "You don't have to fight us," she told a group of Council guards who had been cornered in the station's command center. "The war is over. Your leaders have already lost." Some of the guards looked at their weapons, then at the humans surrounding them. They had been told that humans were savage beasts who showed no mercy. Instead, they saw beings who offered them a chance to live. One by one, they put down their weapons. Commander Ji-un was leading the effort to evacuate civilians from the battle zone. Even in the middle of the largest space battle in galactic history, humans were trying to protect innocent lives. "Why do you save us?" asked a Council civilian as Ji-un's ship carried him away from the fighting. "We are your enemies." "No," Ji-un replied. "Your leaders are our enemies. You are just someone who wants to live in peace. That's what we're fighting for. The right of everyone to live in peace." The fighting reached the Council's inner chambers where Chancellor Vextar made his last stand. He had ruled the galaxy for 800 years. He would not surrender to a species that had barely learned to travel between stars. Admiral Myung-ho found him in the Council's throne room, surrounded by his most loyal guards. The old alien stood tall and proud, even though his empire was crumbling around him. "Human," Vextar said, "you have destroyed everything we built. 3,000 years of peace and order, gone because you could not accept your place in the galaxy." "We destroyed 3,000 years of slavery," Myung-ho replied. "We gave the galaxy something better, the chance to choose. Choice leads to chaos. Chaos leads to war. War leads to suffering. Maybe. But slavery leads to death of the spirit. We'd rather risk chaos than accept chains." Vextar looked around at his fallen guards, at the humans and aliens working together to capture his station. For the first time, he began to understand what the humans had really done. "You did not conquer us," he said with sudden realization. "You liberated us from ourselves." The last shots of the war were fired not in anger, but in celebration. Ships across the galaxy began broadcasting messages of freedom. Species that had not been heard from in centuries emerged from hiding. The Spectrans, beings made of pure energy, reappeared after 400 years of exile. President Mi-jin arrived at Dominion Prime 3 days after the battle ended. She came not as a conqueror, but as a representative of Earth's vision for the galaxy's future. The Great Council Chamber, where humans had once been condemned, now hosted the first meeting of the Galactic Assembly. Instead of 47 species ruling over hundreds of others, every sentient species in the galaxy had a voice. Ambassador Hyun-woo, the same diplomat who had faced the Council's ultimatum, now helped write the charter for this new organization. The first law was simple. No species could be forced to obey another species. "We are not here to rule anyone," Hyun-woo told the assembled representatives. "We are here to make sure no one rules anyone else." Dr. Woo Jin and Jin A were working with scientists from dozens of species to share technology freely. The quantum displacement system that had helped win the war was now being taught to anyone who wanted to learn it. "Knowledge belongs to everyone," Woo Jin said as he demonstrated the technology to a group of amazed alien scientists. "When we share what we know, everyone becomes stronger." On Aqualis Prime, Marine General Seong-jun was helping the Hydros rebuild their world. The crystal mines that had made them slaves were now used to create beautiful art and architecture. "You freed us. Choral singer Nemo told him as they watched young hydros playing in waters that were no longer polluted by forced mining. How can we ever repay you? By staying free, Xiong-jun replied. By making sure no one ever enslaves your people again. The war was over, but the work of building a free galaxy was just beginning. On New Geneva Station, a massive space habitat, built in neutral space, children from dozens of species played together while their parents worked to create laws that would protect everyone's rights. Admiral Sung Ho, now retired from military service, walked through the station's gardens and watched the children play. A young human girl was teaching a lithoid child how to throw a ball. Nearby, a Hydros child was showing a Spectran child how to swim in a special energy pool. Did we do the right thing? Asked Dr. So-young, who was now the Assembly's chief science advisor. Sung-ho watched a group of children from 6 different species working together to build a fort out of space-age building blocks. Look at them, he said. 50 years ago, their grandparents were slaves or masters. Today they're just children playing together. Yes, I think we did the right thing. The Galactic Assembly was not perfect. There were still disputes between species. Some worlds chose isolation over cooperation. A few former council species tried to rebuild their old empires. But the galaxy was free to choose. Every being could decide their own path. Every species could write their own future. Chancellor Vextar, now just an old alien in comfortable retirement, sometimes visited New Geneva Station. He spent his days in the library, reading about human history and philosophy. He was trying to understand how such a young species had changed the galaxy so completely. One day, a young human scholar found him reading a book about Earth's ancient wars. Do you understand us now? The human asked. Vextar looked up from his book. I understand that we were afraid of the wrong thing. We feared your capacity for war. We should have feared your capacity for hope. What do you mean? Every species in the galaxy accepted that the Council's rule was permanent. Only humans believed that things could be different. That hope was more dangerous to us than all your weapons. The human smiled. Hope is the most human thing there is. We always believe. Tomorrow can be better than today. Yes, Vextar said quietly. That is what we never understood about you. We thought your strength was in your anger, but your real strength was in your dreams. In the years that followed, the galaxy grew and changed in ways no one had imagined. New technologies emerged from the sharing of knowledge between species. Art and music flourished as different cultures mixed and learned from each other. The human colonies that had once faced destruction became centers of learning and trade. Earth, no longer an isolated primitive world, became the unofficial capital of freedom in the galaxy. But the humans never forgot the lesson of their war with the Council. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The Galactic Assembly was designed to prevent any one species from gaining too much control. Admiral Sung Ho's final log entry, recorded before his death at the age of 93, became famous throughout the galaxy. They called us primitive, violent, chaotic. They were right. We were primitively honest, violently free, and chaotically just, and that made all the difference. We did not save the galaxy because we were better than others. We saved it because we refused to accept that things could not be better. Hope, not anger, is humanity's greatest gift to the stars.